Hello, fellow humans. I wanted to share this thought experiment that I've been working on for a couple days now. And so I wanted to share my solution to a question that humans have been asking for pretty much the beginning of time or since consciousness began. What is goodness? What does it mean to do and to be good? And so I created this concept, and I actually created a graphic to go along with the concept as well. But I wanted to give a bit of the explanation, and then I will show the graphic at the end of the video. So to answer the question of what is goodness, I created what I'm calling a goodness litmus test. And I just want to preface by saying I am not the authority of what is good and what is bad. This is just something I created to help myself better understand and use to test if things truly are good. And so this is my own bias, right? But I thought that maybe it could be useful for other people. So, and I would love to hear if anyone has any critiques or criticisms, additions, anything like that. So, yeah, I just wanted to get a dialogue started here, though. So, I have the goodness litmus test divided into 3 sections. The first one is goodness for self. The second section is goodness for others. And the third section is divine goodness. And so in these 3 tiers of the goodness litmus test, I have 11 questions. So questions 1 through 3 are in the goodness for self. Questions 4 through 6 are in goodness for others. And questions 7 through 11 are in divine goodness. So we ask ourselves these questions, right? And the way that the litmus test works is the more yeses you answer, the more good it is, right? And in this, tiers 1 and 2, I believe, have to be built into all yeses before we can even begin to ask the questions of 7 through 11. And within these sections, the order of the questions doesn't particularly matter. That's just my grouping of them. My ordering, but I do think per group, if we are not being good to self and good to others, anyone asking these divine goodness questions that I have, I think is either in an ego trap or a con artist. So yeah, with further delay, I'm going to read off the questions for the goodness litmus test I created. Okay, so section or tier 1 is goodness for self. Question 1 I have, we have to first consider immediate and long-term time scales, right? So question 1 is, does it help my body more than it harms it? Question 2 is, does it help my mind more than it harms it? And question 3, does it help my spirit more than it harms it? And so again, we have to look at the immediate and the long-term time scales. So for example, with exercising, sure, it hurts your body a little bit in the immediate, but the long-term payoff, it produces a net positive in your life, right? As opposed to a drug addiction where it might have a positive in the immediate, but long-term has a much longer and larger negative impact. And so for goodness for others, questions 4 through 6, I have, does it help someone else's body or an external body more than it harms it? And that is sentient or not, right? Does it help a mind outside of my own? And question 6, does it help the spirits around me? And so with these 6 essential questions, I do believe it is easier to do questions 1 through 3 and then move on to 4 through 6, though I'm not saying that that's how it has to be, but I am saying within this model, we need all 6 of those to be a definitive, yes, it does more help than harm for my body, everyone else's body, my mind, everyone else's mind, my spirit, and everyone else's spirits. And also I want to put in, there would be like a little asterisk here. When I say someone else's body, I am referring to sentient and non-sentient bodies. So sentient bodies being other human bodies, other animal bodies, things like that. And then non-sentient, other bodies like of water or a body of trees being like a forest, a body of buildings being a city. These are non-sentient bodies to me in my definition of body. It really is just, I'm really referring to external physical bodies of something, not a mind or a spirit within them, right? And so they can be sentient or not. Okay, and so then I get into divine goodness questions, and this, don't eat my plants. No, sorry, my cat. That's not good for you. Come on. Get down, please. Down. Come on. Come on, I'm gonna pick you up. Oh, say hello, kitty. Quick cat break, right? Little plant eater. All right, and so questions 7 through 11 are part of the divine goodness tier. And I have, one of them is, will there be a lesson or a meaning or a purpose, basically? So does it have a point that it's proving? The next question is, does it lie in the middle of two opposites? Is it balanced in understanding of the two polar opposites that exist within a spectrum? Does it see the middle path within these? The next one is genuine transformation / growth / metamorphosis occurring? Because is something new being created from the old, right? The next one is, does it spark infinite joy? And so I know this may be a term that other people do not necessarily have the same definition of as I do, but in my own spiritual journey, I've come to understand infinite joy as an ever-present and all-renewing sense of joy. And not that I think any human body is capable of fulfilling or experiencing infinite joy 24/7, because I don't think that's really possible for the human body. I do think spirit, the ultimate spirit, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, that divine thing that's bigger than everything else, I do believe that possesses infinite joy. And so, in the human quest for goodness, I think it is important to ask ourselves if it is emanating this kind of infinite joy, if it is a structure or a scenario that is going to bring about joy. And then the last question I have too is, does it inspire unbearable compassion? So I really genuinely believe that any God, Godhead, any greater force is going to be compassionate. Anything that is worth honoring, in my opinion, is going to have compassion. And I think like mercy could fall under there as well. I really love this phrase of unbearable compassion, which I read in a Ram Dass book, because it stuck out to me before I'd felt it. And then when I experienced it, it was the only two words that I could think of that accurately described what I was experiencing in this kind of spiritual and mental high. Unbearable compassion. And it's not bad that it's unbearable, but it is unbearable. And so, yeah, like I said, these questions don't necessarily have to be in that specific order, like the 7 through 11 of divine goodness. And I don't think that not meeting all of these criteria mean that it's bad. It's just rather it can show you where it can improve in goodness. You know, for myself, I find it to be a useful diagnostic tool, and I don't want people using this to like call other people bad or like judge other people for it. Because if you use the test, it does more harm to others and ourselves to compare and contrast and try to make other people feel bad. Right? So really what my intention is for this tool that I've created for myself is a way for me to check with my own philosophies and morals and ethics that what I'm doing, seeing how good it is, and seeing if I have another option that gives me more goodness, rather. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with people, and I know that I'm not always the best at explaining things. This is still kind of fresh in my mind, actually, so I created a graphic that I thought would show people that maybe do better with symbolic representation than verbal representation. I find both to be equally compelling, and I even found kind of a new understanding of my own goodness litmus test by looking at the image, which is kind of silly, but just, it's definitely something that I am going to keep looking at and dwelling on, because I find that it is informative in ways that I didn't even intend. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with people, and I hope you all have a good day. Good for your mind, good for your body, good for your soul, good for other people's minds, bodies, and souls, and good for the sake of being good. I love you all so much. Bye.